Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, Practice Builders. Happy Thursday to you all. And guys, I'm super excited to be here today. I have a special treat for you. Really, really super excited about this opportunity to talk with my rock star client, and just so excited to be able to really kind of sink our teeth into a conversation around how my client Carrie Riker is able to create an additional 2K per month cash revenue stream in her insurance-based practice through the creation of really an accountability program in the form of a membership, right? So we're going to dig deep into this topic today. It's a really, really popular topic. I have so many questions that come in on this. So I'm so grateful that Carrie is willing to join us today and really share how she does it. How did she create this program in the first place? How does she sell it? Like, how does she position it so that her clients can actually see the value? And what are the benefits? And, just how does it all work? So, welcome, Carrie. Would you like to
Yeah.
say hello and maybe start by kind of giving people an ideas to, where you're from, what you do, your area of specialization? That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored to join you today and talk about this program you helped me create. My name is Carrie Riker. As Leslie said, I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and also a diabetes educator and certified health and wellness coach. I live in Nashville, Tennessee area, and I specialize in digestive disorders, mainly IBS and IBD. So I help them figure out their food triggers to have an increased awareness of what foods work for their bodies and increase their energy and remove that food fear and give them freedom. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So, you live in the beautiful Nashville area.
That's
You
growing
must be loving
rapidly. So,
that.
yes.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So if you're just joining us, again, a big warm welcome to all of you practice builders. We have a really awesome topic today. Looking forward to sharing. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lesli Bitel, and I'm a business strategist and mentor specifically for integrative and functional medicine and nutrition practitioners, registered dietitians, and coaches. And again, for those of you just popping in, welcome. I have a special interview with the wonderful Carrie Riker, and she's going to be sharing how she set up her monthly membership in the form of an accountability program, again, that generates her an extra 2K per month. So let me just kind of give everyone a quick overview on specifically what you're going to learn today, right? So first, you're going to learn how to position your cash offer to successfully enroll your insurance-based clients into your membership program. Right? Secondly, we're going to be talking about the recommended tools, specifically the ones that Carrie integrates into her accountability membership to add tremendous value, thus increasing engagement and, very importantly for the client, overall goal achievement. So these tools are super helpful in creating value and keeping the client on track towards goal achievement. And then number three, we're going to talk about the steps that you can take right now to create your own cash membership program, literally starting today. So, all right, super excited. So again, welcome, Carrie. And I'd love to kick things off with you sharing just a little bit about your accountability program. Maybe you can share a little bit of background on how it came to be, and who it's for, that kind of thing. Just kind of give us the big picture of how you started this process.
Yeah. So this accountability program was created because mainly my practice is predominantly insurance-based clients, sprinkled in with a couple of cash pay clients. But, working with Leslie, we're trying to identify different streams of revenue, just because we all know that working one-on-one, you can only work a certain amount of time one-on-one with clients. So creating a continuous revenue stream was needed, so that way I can go on vacation or have sick days and know that, money was also coming in without me having to see clients one-on-one. And so, and then we recognize that people are needing help, right, in between sessions. And so I was already offering meal planning options. And so this way, Leslie helped me create this accountability program for more so for my insurance-based folks. But if a private, cash pay client wanted to pay per session, this could still be part of their program as well if they wanted to enroll in it too. So
good.
That's how it got started.
Yeah, so good. So basically, what it sounds like was that your practice was filling up, right?
Yeah.
And we needed to find another way, an additional revenue stream where you weren't completely reliant on insurance, right? Mm-hmm. Ideally, we wanted it to be a cash revenue stream. And the other thing that you said that I think is super, super important here is that we're looking for recurring revenue without you actually having to show up, right? Face to face. And I want to be clear for our audience what that is. That's called scaling, right? That's called scaling your business when you're able to, find ways to find additional revenue streams and ways to serve your clients that do not require you to be face-to-face, one-to-one, right? And so that is a super, super important part of building a healthy business, because essentially we want to have multiple streams of income, right? We don't want to be 100% reliant on one revenue stream. Now, to be clear, we have to start somewhere, right? So what Carrie did in her business was, we decided to really focus primarily on filling her one-on-one spots, or at least getting her a lot of traction. Because if I remember correctly, Carrie's, one of her first goals when we started working together was to be able to quit her day job, right? She wanted the traffic in Nashville. I remember that conversation like it was yesterday, Carrie. The traffic is really bad in Nashville, and you really wanted to have that freedom and flexibility to run your own business. And so that was goal number one, right?
Yes.
Like, let's get this practice going. Let's get some great leads coming in the door so that we could really, get, your one-on-one component of that part of your practice full. So do you have any comments about that, in terms of that being our initial goal?
Yeah. I just remember I was just overwhelmed to the max trying to build my practice on the side. And so, you helped me, gain that traction, getting people in the door. And then having this accountability program helped create that sustainability that gave me that courage to take that leap of faith to go full time with my practice, knowing I could also rely on this accountability program as continued revenue too.
Right. Absolutely. So, which is great. So yeah, I remember that day when you gave your notice, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going full time in my private practice. That was a huge day of celebration. Such an amazing accomplishment. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of this accountability program. I'm sure everyone is kind of waiting with bated breath to hear some of the tips and secrets that you can share. So why don't we start by talking about, how do you position the program? Actually, let's back up. What's included in the program? How about if we start there? What's included and what is your current price point, if you don't mind sharing?
Yes. Yeah. And so what the accountability program is, it's a monthly subscription for this program, which the program entails weekly meal planning, and that I use a program called Eat Love. And so they'll get weekly meal plans and they can keep a food log on there. I also use the EMR portal Healthy. And so they can also message me on Healthy. They can receive educations through there. And then I do send weekly blasts to the group. So that way I'm not sending individual messages one by one to people, but I'm just sending a general mass message through Healthy, through that portal. So that way it's still privately sent. And that way they have that accountability. They also have me as a dietitian in their back pocket kind of concept where they can freely message me in between sessions, because we all know that's where the true work comes into play. And so that way, if clients need help or even additional motivation, I'm there to help support them and guide them, because that's really where the success happens, to help them reach their goal. Otherwise, it might take a little bit longer to have that, reach those goals and stay motivated too.
So good. So good. Okay. So you've got a specific set of tools that you use for this accountability program. I'm curious, what do your clients like about the program? Like, how do they see it as advantageous to, to be paying? I think it's $97 a month, right?
Yes.
For this
Sorry. So it's $97
subscription,
a month.
right? Kind of. Yeah, right. So $97 a month. And basically, just to summarize what it includes. So, and let me know if I omit anything accidentally, but it sounds like it includes meal plans and recipes through Eat Love, which is a really awesome tool available. Messaging and food journaling through Healthy. Did you get that part right? Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything else, or are those the main components?
Those are the
messaging. You send out like a motivational message every week through Healthy, right?
Correct. Or like an education topic, something like that. That's I hear frequently throughout the week. But I would say the main drawing factor why people buy into the program is the meal planning, just because people want to be told what to do and what to eat a lot of times. Or, I do a lot of low FODMAP diets, and they're like, okay, that's great. I can't have those foods. So what can I have? What does that look like for me? And so that way it's, recipes that they can make and knowing the appropriate serving sizes. I'll also do weight management or diabetes education. So especially say like diabetes, if you're trying to tell them how many carbohydrates they can have a day, it's like, great, I can have 50 carbs a meal. What does that look like? And so that way they're able to put it into action and know exactly what they're doing. Or if people have stalled out on their weight loss, it's a great way to be like, hey, this is the set prescription for you. And it meets your needs. And so that way it's a helpful tool to make sure that they know exactly what they're eating. And people are surprised, like, wow, I didn't know I wasn't eating the right balanced foods or not eating the right portions, or, it takes the stress out of meal planning for them. So it's really a great tool to help people, on the path towards wellness, towards their goals.
Love that. So what I'm hearing loud and clear is it really increases the engagement, right? And it helps keep them on track. Would you say those are the main advantages from your client perspective? I would also imagine that it really deepens the client practitioner relationship as well.
Yeah. And so it helps, build rapport with that client. So that way we're able to see what's going on throughout the week. If they have any social engagements or they're going out to a restaurant, I can help guide them with their food choices so they can feel confident in that. And so that way, I know with insurance-based models, sometimes it's hard to get people to keep coming back in, so this way you're building rapport and they love, it's that good relationship that they don't want to lose you, that they'll come back in because they know that they need that
huge
support.
That's absolutely huge. I'm so glad you brought that up. So there's pros and cons with every business model, right? Every single one. In the insurance model, even though it's often covered, sometimes even in full, unfortunately, sometimes the drawback can be they tend to drop off, right? Even though, it's kind of counterintuitive. You would think they'd keep coming because for the most part, it's covered. So basically what I hear you saying, Carrie, is one of the huge advantages to doing this subscription model via the accountability program is it keeps clients engaged, it builds rapport, it improves results and outcomes. And from a business perspective, it keeps them coming back, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so, and doing it as a subscription for me, it's been beneficial. I've had people still on it for over a year. on the accountability program. So even though our face-to-face time might be over, they still
Mm.
are enrolled in the program. Or, sometimes I do have clients that they're comfortable in the kitchen and they just want a 1-month subscription. But I would say, people are at least enrolled in it for at least 3 months. But some, I keep it open. So some people keep going for a longer period of time.
I love that. Okay, so you spoke to something really, I think, super important here. Guys, in a healthy business, we need to find ways to continue to serve our clients. And this would be true regardless of whether you're in the cash model or insurance model, without a doubt. So let's say hypothetically that you're in the cash model, right? So the same would be true. So once they finish that initial commitment with you, let's say a 3-month program, we need to find ways to continue to serve them, because very, very few people are going to be completely done after that initial commitment, right? After that first 3 months, many of our clients are going to need some kind of ongoing support. So this type of monthly subscription, membership type of accountability model can work regardless of whether you're in the cash or insurance model. So it's really an incredible way to add an additional revenue stream. Plus, it really truly is a win-win for both you as well as your clients. I'm curious, Gary, can you share a little bit about how much time this takes? Because I'm wondering, there's probably people, some of our viewers that are wondering, wow, I wonder how much time this takes. Do you have any comments there? How do you streamline this so it's not overwhelming?
Yeah, it's really not time consuming at all. So when I initially enroll the clients, I send them a form, and then once they sign that letter of intent to enroll in the membership, I just sign them up with Eat Love, which takes me less than 10 minutes to send a client their first meal plan. And then, I set a time, maybe an hour or two per week, to review the client's meal plans or in their records, and then send out a message blast. So it's only, honestly, maybe 2 hours max a week, if that, depending on what's all going on with different clients. And usually, even though people, I let them have access to me in between sessions, most people don't abuse it at all, which is nice. So
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, not really.
I think that's sometimes I feel like that's sometimes a fear. Like some people, some dietitians and practitioners don't do that because they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be overwhelming. But what I'm hearing you say is that it really isn't. And most people are very respectful.
Yes. Yeah. Most people are very respectful. And then I also set hours too. I know in the past I was bad about setting hours of responding to people. And so that way, that in my contract, I have the hours that I will be responding back to folks. So that way I'm not, working on the weekends or late at night either.
So good. Yeah. You got to absolutely. You got to set healthy boundaries without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's what I want to transition to next is, because I'm pretty sure our viewers are wondering, well, like, where do you start and how do you get people to actually sign up? Like, what kind of language do you use? Can you give us any tips on how you actually make it happen?
Yeah, it really just sells itself, which is so nice because I am not a salesperson, and that's probably why I feel like I'm still in the insurance model, because it's hard for me to push the money side of things. But in my conversations with clients, I listen to certain key factors. So usually it happens on the first initial consult after we've gone over, the standard typical health history and the typical daily food logs. And we're in the motion of creating that wellness vision and their long-term health goals and the tools they need to succeed. And I listen to the verbal cues such as, man, I just wish I knew what to eat. I struggle with portions, or I'm just so lost and confused on how to implement these ideas and suggestions. I have a family I have to cook for. How do I do that? So I listen to different cues that trigger me like, oh, well, I might have an option for you. Let me show you. Would you be interested in learning more? And then once I get that feedback, then I'll usually pull up the actual Eat Love meal plan, and I'll show them that, hey, this program meets your specific nutritional needs. And you can, what's great about Eat Love is that it's interactive. So before, as dietitians, it could take hours to make a meal plan. It would only be about seven meals, 7 days worth of meals, and that's it. So this way it's based on their nutritional needs. They can change it out and they love it. So then they're like, okay, I get them to buy into the program. They love how it looks and feels. And so then I'm just like, oh, that's when I give this feel like, okay, we know that the work happens in between sessions. If this is something that you're interested in, insurance doesn't cover this amount. And so I have a monthly subscription for you. And so usually most people think it's reasonable to try for at least 1 month. And then a lot of times they love it, that they want to keep going. So
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So basically you're listening to cues, and you're really positioning the program. It sounds like you're positioning it to solve a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
When you sense, go ahead.
And I was going to say right now it's been increasing because so many people are eating more at home, right? Due to this quarantine time, COVID, more people are eating at home. And some of them might not have been cooking as much before or eating out. So now is a perfect time to really implement it while people are eating and wanting to learn more about how to prepare foods at home.
Love that. I love that so much. So good. Such good stuff. So, all right. So any pushback on that price point of $97? Sounds like people are...
I would say for the most part, people are game for it. The only people that usually I get a little pushback from is if they're really confident in their cooking skills at home and with the foods. Okay. But on the contrary, I've actually had a certified chef meet with me before, and he's like, after a while trying the low FODMAP, he's like, I just need the meal plans. He's like, so even a chef needed it.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. So it wasn't about cooking for him. It was just like, it's too much. Like, I can't, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but really for the most part that people, if they're willing to cook in the kitchen, or if the other caveat is if they're not the ones doing the cooking, then they might not be willing to buy into it as much because of their support person is doing the preparing. So sometimes that's hard to navigate, but otherwise people are typically going to buy in for at least a month. And like I said, usually they want to keep going with it after they've used it.
Okay. So good. So good. And actually I'm looking at our, looks like we have some comments and questions. So let's go ahead. And so I did want to show the client, Michelle. And Michelle says, hello. And Michelle is currently in the insurance model, although we're working to diversify her revenue stream to include more cash in our work together. But bravo for Michelle. She signed up one person for her membership program, which is so good. Guys, it starts with the first person, right? It really does. So really happy that, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. It's fantastic. So, once you get started and you get that first person in, the next 5, 10, 15 are going to be that much easier. So that's fantastic. So, hey, Barbara, welcome. So Barbara has a question. What do you call your accountability program? Does it have a special name?
It's called the accountability program. So this is as simple as that. Because a lot of clients come in just saying they also need just that accountability. And so it's like, well, I have a perfect program for you. It's called the accountability program. And so that way it's simple and it's broad too. So I'm not narrowing down my niche in case I need to use it for somebody that's diabetic or weight management or various disease states. That way it's just one program tile that I can use across various disease states.
Yeah, I love that you didn't overthink that, right? Like you just picked a name and went with it, and that's it. Let's see. Okay, so we have a couple more questions. This is great, guys. Keep them coming. So do they have, hi Lori, welcome. Do they have community accountability or individual? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Lori. So for my specific program, I just have an individual accountability right now. But I have thought about the opportunity that you could make it a group accountability as well. I know that on my program, Healthy, you could do that, or you can very easily do a Facebook group or something like that, and that could be beneficial. Mm-hmm. So especially if you're doing a large amount of people in a specific disease state, they might be willing to participate in that as well. So yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, definitely. There's, different ways you can do this, Lori. So it sounds like, for now, Carrie is doing this more on an individual basis, but I think there's definitely wiggle room to be creative here, right? Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I think we answered part of Barbara's question in terms of what do we call the program? And then can you clarify, do you bill monthly or annually?
Yeah. So Barbara, how I bill is it's on a monthly subscription. So I set up a program where it just draws out every month that $97 from their account. And then I just have in that form that they sign that they just need to let me know when they're done with the program. So they'll send me a message once they're done with the program, and then I'll just go ahead and I'll just continue it. So it's pretty simple that way. But you could probably do an annual membership with a discounted price or something like that as well.
Yeah, I think you can be really creative there for sure. So so it's at $97 a month. I guess you'd have to think about, I don't know if I would do, I suppose you could do annually. I think challenge might be, it's just hard to know if you're the client, like how many months are you going to need this, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I do think that that's a possibility. You would just want to give them a little discount for signing up for 12 months, 12 consecutive months. Yeah. So this, I think, is a great question, something that we should clarify. Okay, so thanks for asking this, Barbara. So if a client has unlimited visits with their insurance plan, do you still enroll them in your accountability program?
Yeah. So if they would, I still present it to them. Yeah. And mainly because, Barbara, what they enjoy is the meal plans themselves is probably what they look forward to the most is the meal planning and that. And then, they do appreciate the accountability with me checking in and sending those motivations, but the real draw is the meal plans for sure. So I still offer that in the event, even if they do have unlimited visits with me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Barbara, I'll just add on, like, that's the perfect client for this, right? Yeah. That is the perfect client. And the thing that I really want to drive home, guys, in the insurance model, the stuff that we're including in this membership, this accountability program, this is the stuff that you're not getting paid for by insurance. Okay? That's the key. If you guys are doing this and you're not billing for it, which I don't really think you can bill insurance for this stuff, as far as I know, then essentially you're doing the work for free, right? And so that's what we really want to get away from, because I want you to be well compensated for what you do. So basically what we're suggesting is that you're bundling services that either A, you're doing on the side and not charging, right? Or B, things that could benefit your client that insurance, you just really can't bill insurance for because it's like stuff on the side, right? So we're bundling those kinds of services into a little mini package. And then basically what Carrie's doing is she's, are you billing like the first of the month, like 97? You've got their credit cards, you do like automatic billing?
Yeah, so I actually bill it the day that we meet, the day that they sign the form. I have a package built out in Healthy, and so then I just charge their account, and then that day every month it's charged. In the event that I've had a rare occasion where somebody's like, hey, do you mind? Let's start the first of the month, so that way it bills every first of the month. I'll rarely have that, but people are usually, okay, just go ahead and charge my card today. I'm ready to get started.
All right. That's so good. Okay. So yeah, so hopefully Nadia, that answers your question as well. Okay. So, all right. So this has been so incredibly helpful and enlightening. And I can tell by the questions that this is definitely a hot topic. Any other words of wisdom or advice for our audience today, Carrie, in terms of, getting started, being successful in this model? Anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I just feel like if you just take the leap of faith and do it, like I mentioned, it does not take much at all. It doesn't. And so I just created a simple form that the clients would sign, an agreement form right away. And then I just set up the meal plans. If you haven't, I use Personally Eat Love. There's so many other programs out there too, but it's, you don't feel like you have to be a salesperson to sell it, because a lot of people come to us thinking that that's all we do is meal planning, or they want to be told what to eat. So this is a great solution to that problem, where they have individualized treatment. They get that support to help have that success that they're looking for, and that relationship with us as well. And so from a patient perspective, it's great because they meet their goals probably a lot quicker. And then from a provider perspective, it's great because you have that ongoing relationship with your clients, as well as that steady income that's coming in, and it doesn't take much time at all. So you can't beat that. So you just have to take that leap of faith, and it'll come.
And do it. Okay, so good. All right, so I'm going to share. Give us a follow or a DM if you've got any more questions. So this is how you can find Carrie. Her Instagram handle is your.ibs.dietitian. And so give her a follow, give her a shout out if you want any more information. And I'm also going to put mine up, Instagram.com/Lesli Bitel. So guys, if you need help implementing this strategy, please reach out. I'm here to help. All right. Really, I'm very passionate. I think Carrie can vouch for me, right? In terms of, guys, I'm just so passionate about helping.
Yeah. And without Lesli, I wouldn't have been able to come up with this. So she's been so helpful for me and strategizing these things. So thank you, Lesli. Oh,
thanks for being such a great implementer, right? It takes a team, right? It really does sometimes. So Carrie has been great because she actually takes the ball and runs, right? Like she implements. So, and the thing that's so awesome is in such a short time, she was able to leave her full-time job, have this beautiful private practice that's full of wonderful clients that she loves working with in the niche that she loves. And on top of that, we're scaling, right? Like we're creating additional revenue streams with the membership, as well as creating online courses. So that's a whole other thing that Carrie is doing as well to grow her business in very creative ways. So thanks for being such an awesome client, and really thank from the bottom of my heart for sharing your experience with our audience today. Absolutely invaluable. So guys, go out, give this some thought. If you need any additional direction, please reach out. I'm here to help. I'm sure Carrie would be happy to answer some questions as well. Give her, a shout out on Instagram. And anyway, so that is it for now. Fantastic information. The key though, as I always say, information is great. Now I want to find out, what is your next step in implementing, right? So is there one takeaway that you derive from today's session that you can actually start to work on to get this moving forward? So if you can share that with me, let's build up a little accountability, shall we? Drop me a DM and just let me know what that one step is, or give me a comment in the comment area on this live stream. All right, everybody. So good hanging out with you. Thank you again, Carrie. Really loved every minute of it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend coming up. Bye for now.
Bye.